All right, good evening everybody and welcome back to Walks and Wall Street. Today is October 21st, 2023 and it is a Saturday. So welcome everybody, happy Saturday. Hopefully your weekend is off to a fantastic start. And welcome to the weekend edition of Walks and Wall Street. So for those of you who are new here, on Saturdays we do not really have topics about the financial markets. It's usually Monday through Friday. Saturday, we sort of take the day off, walk around a different neighborhood of the city, explore what's going on, maybe check out some new restaurants, and particularly some notable buildings. Currently, right now, check this out. This is 432 Park Avenue. Looks absolutely beautiful today. And we are sitting at the little sort of public space that they have out. Now, next week is going to be very, very busy, action-packed week on Wall Street, particularly as it relates to corporate earnings, as well as some inflation data that is going to be coming out. So tomorrow, Sunday night, as we do the markets look-ahead live stream, we are going to be going day by day, essentially Monday through Friday, touching on the major events that are going to be coming up. If you tuned in to the stream last week, we covered a lot. We went through a lot. For the most part, the financial part, in terms of the major banks, the credit card issuers, that part of earnings season is now out of the way for the most part, right? We still have some regional banks coming up, but a lot of the bulge bracket institutions like Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, and the like, they have reported their corporate earnings, and we've covered that in depth. A little bit of a mixed bag of tricks, I would say, this earnings season. Some reports have been absolutely horrible, really, really disappointing, particularly from Tesla. We covered that in detail. However, there were some earnings reports that were actually really good. For example, Netflix, ticker symbol NFLX, really, really solid report, particularly after they banned the password sharing. Many analysts on Wall Street thought that was going to increase churn significantly. Actually, the opposite happened. There was record subscriber growth for the quarter. We discussed that last week. So for tonight, we are going to be heading downtown. I think we're going to walk over to 59th Street, Columbus Circle, and then head straight down 8th Avenue. We're reporting live from Park and 56th Street. So in between 56th and 57th, right outside of 432 Park Avenue. Now, if you want, before we get started here, a complete recap of earnings season, everything that we've talked about so far throughout the week, next Thursday after the market closes. We are going to have our next edition, our next issue of the Behind the Street newsletter that is going to be dropping. If you scan the QR code on your screen, punch in your email every other Thursday after the market closes, you will receive all of my equity research for free. So it's a research piece. We cover equity markets, fixed income, real estate, and all of the main events that I think are going to be appropriate to cover. That's all going to be in there. Okay, so for everybody who's new, if you haven't signed up, go ahead, scan the QR code, punch in your email, and you will be able to sign up for free. I'm going to go ahead, close up the laptop here. We will get started, and I'll say hello to everybody in the chat. And I hope you are all having a fantastic Saturday. So give me a minute, and we will kick things off. All right, let me get the microphone on here. It's actually a really nice night out. Thank God it stopped raining. You know, it's been 7 weekends in a row here in New York City that it's been raining, but it just stopped. Probably stopped about at 2, maybe 3 o'clock in the afternoon, which was nice. And now it's absolutely beautiful out. Now check out this view of 432 Park Avenue. I was at the office late today, but look at that, stunning. All right, let's see who we have in the chat. The city kind of looks like Gotham City tonight, right out of a Batman movie. I see the LT Prod, Sally is here, Noah, Brian, what's up? Shatoya Davis, D, thank you so much for joining. British Gray from Tampa, Florida, welcome. Joe, Cat, Two Wheel Freedom, what's going on? Long time no see. Trust you're well. Gary Carpenter, Hal T16, RPT says happy Saturday evening. It's pouring here in Maine. You know, you probably are something. I'm trying to get a listing in here for a resale. But it's between us and a lot of other, I should say, brokers. Oh, you know what? Let me turn off the Wi-Fi. See, since my office is right here, the internet keeps trying to connect to my Wi-Fi at the office, so it starts to buffer constantly. I always have to remember that. Yeah, Dan Zank says it's extra windy today. You know, I noticed that too. Whenever, when I used to work out of those WeWork offices, I would always have to turn off my Wi-Fi anytime I wasn't in the office, because it would try to auto-connect to every single WeWork location in the city. So now that I'm here, I need to remember to, anytime we're streaming past the office, I have to turn off the Wi-Fi because it'll try to auto-connect all the way to the 6th floor. So anyway, hey, Steph UH is here, or Steph UF, good to see you. Says hello, Tom and team, welcome. Alex S says hello from California, good to see you, Alex. If you look straight down Madison Avenue, this is Jeffries, which is actually one of my favorite buildings in New York City. We won't go down that way tonight, but if you go on Google Images and just type in Jeffries, New York City, you'll see the building. It's very unique. I like it a lot. Some people don't like it. I like the uniqueness of it. Hey, JC, what's up? This is good evening from South Africa. JC, how you doing? You know, speaking of Bitcoin, we had a little bit of a rally all throughout last week. I think we're trading at what, 30,000 even, or maybe like 29,995, something like that. And gold too. Gold caught a massive bid last week. Really, really big bid. I think we're just trading just below $2,000. You know, we were talking about gold a couple months ago, and if you pull up your Bloomberg terminal or TradingView or however you look at charts, MarketSmith or whatnot, and you look at a monthly time frame, so look at the monthly candles on gold, it's probably one of the most textbook cup with handle patterns I've ever seen, and one of the most massive. Now, if you remember correctly, gold topped in 2011. and gold has been going down to sideways since 2011. Now, when we had that massive inflationary push in the United States, gold started to build the right side of that cup. We'll see what happens. Now that all of this war is breaking out of the Middle East, it seems like people want to flight to quality. This is Trump Tower, 721 Fifth Avenue, but in the distance right here is 53 West 53rd Street. This is a building on New York City's Billionaires Row. One of my personal favorites. Now, a lot of people don't know this, but on the 56th Street side of Trump Tower, this is where the residence entrance is, right? So if you are renting a condo in there or you own, that's where you go. This is the Trump Wine and Whiskey Bar. Maybe it's closed. Oh no, you can see some people hanging out in there. I've taken you guys in here once before. Well, let me put on Do Not Disturb mode. Hey, Abdullah's here. What's up? Thanks for joining us. Always a pleasure to see you. UniJ23, what's up? Good to see you. SME Media says, any predictions on holiday spending? I think it's going to come in strong. You know, one of the main I would say my main takeaway, SME Media, from last week, particularly yesterday, and we talked about this on last night's live stream, but if you look at American Express in their earnings report that they dropped before the opening bell, the biggest takeaway for me is that consumer spending amongst millennials and Gen Z was their strongest growth cohort. And the reason why I thought it was so interesting, and we might as well go inside Trump Tower. I'll show you the outside. But the reason why that was so interesting to me is it seems like the narratives, and even some of the narratives that I talk about, right? But it seems like the main narrative is that millennials and Gen Z, they can't afford anything. They're under crippling student loan debt and consumer debt, and they just can't seem to get their feet on the ground, and they can't buy homes, and you know, they don't have any investments. But with all that being said, right, that narrative being pushed, if you look at the data, right, which we have from some of the major credit card issuers, Citi, Bank of America, JP Morgan Chase, and just most recently, yesterday, American Express, all of the consumer spending, or I should say the majority of the growth cohort, is coming out of millennial season. I think it's going to be pretty robust spending. But then again, I could be wrong. What do you guys think? Surfboard, what's up? Good to see you. We'll walk down 57th Street. Peter Webley's credit card spending means they have no cash. Maybe, but also not necessarily. But I do agree sort of with what you're saying. But it doesn't necessarily mean that conclusively. Because if you think about American Express, they tend to service of higher income individuals, right, based upon the data. I think the average income of an American Express holder is over $80,000. But Peter Webley, you're right. You know, I was reading the Wall Street Journal today at the office. And you know what else was very concerning to me? I was going to bring this up tomorrow, but since we're sort of talking about it now, we might as well. Auto delinquencies or defaults on auto payments for auto loans just hit an all-time record high. So Americans seem to be having trouble paying their car notes, which is pretty concerning. Hey Noah, it would be interesting to see the increases in consumer debt compared to payments made. Yeah, we can actually see that. I'll give you a good resource that everybody should be, and I talk about this a lot. Every single earnings season, right? We have 4 of them in a year, 4 quarters. It's so critical, in my view, to pay attention to the big financials and the credit card issuers, because we can gauge a lot of data. We could use it as a proxy for the health of the US consumer. So if you go to the investor relations page of Bank of America, JP Morgan Chase, pretty much any major credit card issuer, you could see all that data. In addition, as we're looking at Billionaires Row here, if you go to the St. Louis Fed website, so again, if you go to the St. Louis Fed website, you could actually see the total outstanding consumer debt. And consumer debt, which includes credit cards, have reached an all-time record high. And we're starting to see, as we covered last week, we're starting to see delinquencies for 30 and 90-day late payments tick up back to pre-pandemic trend. Here's why that's so concerning. It's because interest rates are at, 2-decade highs now, right? The Fed funds rate is in a target range of 5.25% to 5.5%. So the worst debt to carry is consumer debt. It may have been, it may have been Joseph Hardaway or somebody, I forget, Western Mass Dave, or maybe it was Dan Sang, that the average APY on a credit card is now over 20%. That's kind of ridiculous. That's really, really high. So you have consumer debt at all-time record highs while delinquencies are going up, while interest is accruing faster than it's ever accrued in 2 decades. That's definitely a cause for concern, at least for me. I would say. All right, everybody, we've now reached the official corner of Billionaires Row. You can see 157, and you can see the Steinway Tower right here. This is the skinniest residential apartment building in the entire world. Very, very cool. Hey, Mark Michaels is here. Says, Tom, I use credit cards and pay them in full before the statement date, and I enjoy all of the perks. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great thing to do. That's the key thing, right? If you just pay it in full. Smee Media says maybe people have spent too much on post-pandemic fun and travel, and it might negatively impact holiday spending. Maybe. I definitely, all of the data sort of shows that all of this built-up savings that we've had since the pandemic is kind of going away. It's being eaten away. In addition, there was so much good data in Barron's and Wall Street Journal today. So the median, I'll let this guy go by. This is an amazing shot of the Steinway Tower. But guys, check this out. The median mortgage payment in the United States right now has jumped to $2,800. That's the highest it's ever been. And this is data that we just got in. So the median mortgage payment now in the United States is just under $3,000 at $2,800. Now you may be asking yourself, well, why is that? Well, everybody, I'm assuming, probably just got your escrow renewals. And across the board, particularly if you live in, a state that had a ton of net migration inward instead of outward, well, guess what? 2 things probably went up significantly. Number 1 is property taxes probably totally ripped your face off. And number 2, insurance costs probably went up and ripped your face off too. So, over on the even though people have fixed rate mortgages, right, like myself, costs have gone up this year. And this is sort of the time where your escrow analysis rolls over for the next year. So I would be curious to see if anybody who's watching the stream right now has had their monthly mortgage payment go up significantly because of increased taxes and increased, insurance costs. Has anybody had that? Stephen Bate, true, rips our face off. I agree. I mean, my property taxes are ridiculously high, and my insurance is absolutely ridiculously high as well. This building is 106 Central Park South. This is one of my favorite buildings on Central Park South. It's my old building. It's amazing, amazing building. The staff is great, people are great there. SME Medius' insurance costs are going up here. AG's, mine was a small increase. Well, thank God. Thank God it wasn't a big increase. Michelle Henry is here. What's up? Sal's credit card is good if you pay the balance every month and enjoy the perks. I agree with that, Sal. I agree for sure. Wendy England says, yeah, insurance is pretty nuts. Frank says, in Argentina, the prices are rising almost every single week. You know, I couldn't even really imagine that. I think the inflation rate in Argentina is above 150%, which is just really kind of bizarre to even think about. So, you know, when we're having these conversations about inflation in the US, which is right around this is an amazing dog here, which is around 3.7%, you know, I think we need to have some perspective on a world view, right? We need to kind of zoom out and think about a global macro view to say, hey, some people in some countries are dealing with over 100% inflation. I mean, it's really wild. So I have a lot of sympathy for that. Hey, Surfboards says, I own 2 properties, Tom, in Florida. Both taxes and insurance went up a good bit. Yeah, I was expecting my taxes to go up. My insurance is high, but my insurance actually went down a little bit. I think I told you guys this, mainly because I'm not in a flood zone. But every single year, my property tax bill is like $7,500. Now, depending on where you are in the country, you may be saying, wow, $7,500 a year for property taxes, that is an absolute ripoff. But many of you are saying, oh my gosh, that's an incredible deal, particularly our New Yorkers or our Walks on Wall Street viewers from New Jersey. You know, my friend, really good friend of mine from college, this is a good view of Radio City Music Hall, by the way. He bought a really nice house, has a really, really nice house on Long Island in Massapequa. He is trying to fight his property tax increase, but he pays almost $22,000 a year. That's crazy. 22 grand a year, and that's not considered like extremely, extremely high. Depending on where you are, depending on the square footage of your house, particularly the closer you are to the water, it just really depends on the municipality you're in. But some people on Long Island pay like $30,000, 35 grand for property taxes a year, which is really crazy. And that's one of the things that have been driving a lot of, you know, born and raised Long Islanders out. I mean, think about, you know, a first-time home buyer or a prospective first-time home buyer. If you're 22, 23 years old, I mean, how can you afford, you know, almost $20,000 in property taxes a year? To many people, that's like a quarter of your entire salary. It's crazy. Hey, John Casey says Jersey 7,500 is great. Some towns it's 15,000 to 22,500. Wow. But then again, I think New Jersey has some of the best public schools in the nation. Is that correct? It's either Long Island, New York, or some towns in New Jersey. I think the public education system is probably some of the best in the country. Anyway, I always like showing this view. This is an amazing view looking directly down Central Park South, all the way to 5th Avenue. And you can see one of my favorite buildings, which is this building right here, This is the Sherry Netherland. We always talk about it from reminiscences of a stock operator. Hey, Hawaii, this is Tom. Did you catch the drone show they had in New York City tonight? You know, I didn't. I think they actually had it right here in Central Park. I didn't. Unfortunately, I was at the office, but I'm assuming there's probably some YouTube content uploaded already. I wish I could have went. I really, really wish I could have went to that drone show, but unfortunately I couldn't. Hey, Terry Wells is looking to buy another home, so should be interesting. Thinking of just paying cash or forget it. But I'll have 2 homes to pay insurance on. Yeah, Terry, if you look at the National Association of Realtors existing home sales report that just came out 3 days ago, we covered that in depth on this channel. It was some of the highest percentages on record of people purchasing homes for cash, which makes sense, right? For a multitude of reasons. Mainly because now the 30-year fixed rate mortgage is 8%. So you have 8% money right now, and if sellers really want to get a deal done, well, if you have a cash buyer, that makes things really, really easy, and the cash buyer has more negotiating power, right? They're like, look, we can come to the table. Let's say if the property is listed for 2.5, you can come in at 2.1 and say, we're ready to close today. Here's all of our documents. The lawyers prepared everything. We'll go in at 2.1. We're ready to close today. And deals are getting done like that. One of our deals that we just did on our team was exactly that, right? Property was 2.6. Deal got done for 2.25, all cash. All right, everybody, check this out. This is the beautiful JW Marriott Essex House, which is under construction, by the way. They're going to be doing a complete gut renovation of the lobby. So if you notice, if you kind of look all the way up at the top, they've gutted the entire thing, and there's going to be a brand new lobby, and there's also going to be a brand new restaurant attached right to the Essex House. It's one of my favorite hotels. Hey, the LT Prods is Tom. New Hampshire has high property taxes due to having no state income tax or sales taxes. That's probably why Texas has extremely high property taxes too. I'll give you a quick peek inside the lobby. Really, really stunning there. You have all those beautiful crown moldings there. It's a really stunning hotel. We'll wait till the guy with the music gets a little bit further ahead of us. All right, everybody, so standing on the corner of 7th Avenue. This is one of my favorite views in all New York City. You're looking at the 2 towers. It's the Deutsche Bank towers. As we've reviewed on this channel before, Deutsche Bank, which is a major German investment bank, they have vacated 60 Wall Street and they have now taken over the Time Warner Center. As you turn a little bit to the right, this is the Trump International Hotel and Tower, and right next to it is 15 Central Park West, which is one of the most exclusive addresses in all of New York City. Yeah, Sharon's like, yes, I've heard that about Texas. Yeah, Texas has extremely high property taxes, obviously depending on where you go, right? From my understanding, every single municipality is different. It goes by your millage rate. But look, I mean, are my taxes high at $7,500 a year? Yeah, I would say they're high. But I mean, think about if I wanted to buy a starter home on Long Island, right? I'm going to pay like $800,000, $700,000 or $800,000, and then I'm going to have to pay through the nose in property taxes, like $20,000. Hey, Molly Duran, what's up? Stephen Bates is $7,500 is still high. Yeah, it's definitely really high, but I mean, you're pretty much living in paradise. I'm less than a 5-minute scooter ride away from the beach. It's 80 degrees every day, sunny. There's now a big, finance industry down there now. So a lot of my existing clients are down there. So it's very good for networking, things like that. And most importantly, that's where I want to be personally. It's of my opinion, and my opinion really doesn't mean much. I think you should only buy real estate. And again, this is totally opinionated. It doesn't mean it's right, it doesn't mean it's wrong. But in my opinion, you should only be buying real estate in locations where you would actually want to live anyway. Because worst case scenario, guess what? You can just live there, right? So, some people venture out and they buy real estate in these obscure markets because they think there's some alpha to be generated there. But they don't really know a lot about the market. They're just looking at it by running the numbers. I would rather know the market inside and out and plan on living there long term. Hey, Tiff, what's up? Says, what's going on, man? Red Hook anytime soon. Yeah, I will be there tomorrow at 3 p.m. If you want to stop by, please. I will be at the Conover tomorrow from 2 to 3 o'clock, I believe. We have an open house there, and yeah, hopefully we sell out the building before the end of the year. That's what we're pushing for. We have 2 units under contract already, 2 of the townhouses, and we have a deal sort of teetering on the hook for the penthouse. So yeah, if you want to come by tomorrow, dude, let's hang out. Absolutely, I'd love to see you. Hey, Patricia Ivory, what's up? Surfboards is Tom. Are you still thinking of buying in the near future in New York? Yeah, I will definitely buy something in New York in due time. In due time, absolutely. Paint Tours is our new neighbors or neighborhoods near the hospital start at $9,000 a year. Okay. Now the views from the Trump International Hotel and Tower are amazing. I think they're better views, in my opinion, than on Billionaires Row, actually. Because from the Columbus Circle side, you could see Central Park, but all of Billionaires Row as well. It's extremely windy, though. Tiff says, I'm in Washington, D.C. for a conference, but I'll hopefully be back next week. Yeah, let me know. We're thinking about hosting more events. We had that big event last week at the Conover, which was a success. Daniel says, Tom, I know this is opposite to most, but I would love to buy a condo or high-rise apartment in New York and explore the city with no time limit. I don't think that's a contrarian thought at all. I want to do the same thing. If I had the money, if money wasn't an issue and I could buy in any, I would say, major building I wanted, it would probably be 157 Central Park Tower or this guy right here, the Trump International Hotel and Tower. I mean, the views are absolutely stunning there. Our team had an amazing listing, and one of the main penthouses at the Trump International Hotel and Tower. I think we listed it for $35 million. A family, a very, very wealthy family from China, bought the place, gut renovated the entire thing, made it totally custom to their liking, and guess what? They never went there once. I mean, imagine having that level of wealth where you can buy an amazing apartment, right, at literally one of the top floors of this building, work with interior designers, work with architects, contractors, to make your apartment totally customized to your liking, and then guess what? Say, nah, you know what? Yeah, we'll sell it. And they've never been there once. So the KJ team, so Kirsten had it on the market, I think for about 9 months, didn't sell. Another broker who we respect a lot and who we work with a lot, Tal Alexander, got the listing after we got it. Well, I wasn't on the team then, and I think they just sold it. I think they sold it for 30. But it's kind of crazy, right? Okay, welcome to Columbus Circle. Hawaii says, no, I can't even imagine buying something and not living in it. Now, 432 Park Avenue, I believe one of the most expensive units there that sold when it was just going into new sales, right? So when it was just coming to market.
Have a good night.
I think one of the condos sold for just under 90 million, or I think it was $90 million exactly, to a very, very wealthy family office from Saudi Arabia. They were a big retail magnate, multi-billionaire family from Saudi Arabia. They bought it for 90 million, and they never even been in the building. And now they're selling it, I think, at like a $10 million loss. And I think Tal Alexander has that listing as well. Hey, Rat Fink, thank you so much for your generous $5 donation. I appreciate that very much. Thank you for your generosity. Hey, Carl Ross, Tom, I know a couple who bought 3 floors below Trump's unit for $3.5 billion? Really? Are you sure $3.5 billion? Let me read that again. That doesn't sound right. Carl Ross, Tom, I know a couple who bought 3 floors below Trump's unit for $3.5 billion. Maybe $3.5 million? No, I don't think billion. Million, yeah, you're right. Because I was like, billion. I'm like, I could build a super tall for $3.5 billion. But that's cool, $3.5 million. Carl Roth, not for nothing, and that pricing actually sounds spot on. That pricing actually sounds like pinpoint correct. Because if you go to Street Easy right now, and you just kind of want to, play around and just have some fun with it, if you type in Trump Tower, 741 Fifth Avenue, you can actually get, a 1-bedroom or like a 2-bedroom apartment in there with really good views of Central Park for like 1.5, 1.7. Now, again, you're probably going to need to do a lot of work in it because it's all of the same stuff from the 80s. But yeah, that actually sounds right. That actually sounds correct. Okay, this is the Mandarin Oriental Hotel. This is one of the most luxurious hotels in New York City. And they also have a location at Brickell Key, which we walked past when we were doing our Miami live streams. Brickell Key is so fantastic. It's such an amazing place. And now, if you live on Brickell Key, you have an amazing direct view of the Aston Martin Tower down there too. Carl Ross is $2,400 a month for the maintenance fees. Yeah, that sounds right too. Wow. So Carl, do they still have that apartment? I'd be interested. Send me an email if you're comfortable. No pressure, but I'm just interested in all that stuff, obviously. Hey, Dan Sanks, it's Tom. Recently, I've noticed a lot of new luxury buildings being built in Forest Hills, Rego Park, and Elmhurst. Wow. You know, Dan, here's my fear, and I think you could probably sympathize with this a lot. My fear is this. Now, Long Island City, to your point, you lived in Long Island City before. Long Island City is really nice, and I like Long Island City. But here's the problem. Over the last couple of years, all of these luxury, I would say ultra luxury buildings and developments have really pushed a lot of people out. And the rents in Long Island City, definitely combat that of even Manhattan. So what I think you're going to continue to see is further and further and further eastward, you're going to start seeing more of these super tall towers being built, pushing more and more people out. You know, even in Long Beach, New York, now I understand that's not New York City, it's Nassau County, but it's close to like Five Town and all that stuff. All along the boardwalk, I'm not sure if you guys, maybe we do have some Long Islanders in the chat, take a trip to Long Beach, and I want you to drive up and down Shore Road, okay? And you'll notice all of the original Long Beach houses, right? Very quaint, very small. But now you'll notice all of these, gorgeous, gorgeous apartments going up. I think there's like 250 unit apartment building going up, who I actually met the broker on the deal at the Conover event. Now, this building right here is going to be rentals. I think it's 160th Street. This was going to be sales, I think, but due to the market conditions, they decided to make it rentals, I believe. This used to be a Starbucks right here. It used to be a very old and ratty sort of mixed-use building. It used to be commercial space. It used to be retail space. And I used to go to this Starbucks a lot and study when I went to college, literally right in this building right here. So things have changed just so much within the 7 years since I've been in this neighborhood going to school. I mean, it's really unbelievable how much it's changed over the years. Yeah, Hawaii says they will have nice views in the building. Now, I mean, imagine having this view from the building directly above us. You could see all of Billionaires Row. It's unbelievable. Maurice says free Wi-Fi. Yeah. 1,000%. Those were the days. Carl Ross says, Tom, I looked at a brand new condo on the east side of Central Park, 2 blocks from the park, listed for 2.5. Same and good value. Now, with some of those, you got to be careful. I'm not sure the exact building you're looking at. If you send me an email, I could give you my opinion on it. But you do have to watch out for some things in those buildings. I'll give you an example. There's a lot of co-op buildings and condos right on 57th Street, 2 blocks away from the park, some on 58th Street, literally a block away from the park. And you'll see like reasonable valuation. You'll be like, oh wow, this seems like a really good deal. Pull the financials of the building and you'll start to see why a lot of people want out of those buildings. You really got to pay attention to the building's financial statement. Most of them, run a very, very tight ship. But some of the older buildings that maybe they needed a brand new HVAC system, those systems could be multiple millions of dollars. And you can kind of see from the balance, right? If they don't have a big account balance to cover some of those costs, your HOA or your, I would say, common charges could rocket, $500 the next year, right? It has happened to people before. So you really just got to make sure, obviously before you buy, you be very, very meticulous with the financial statements of the buildings and ask those questions, right? Is there, on a 3, 5, 10-year time frame, do you think there's going to need to be any major repairs in the building? Like a new HVAC system, new plumbing, because we've had some clients looking over here and the deals have fallen apart because of that. Okay, we are now on the other side of the Trump International Hotel and Tower. But as I've said before, everybody, this is my all-time favorite. I love 157. Oh wow, Carl Roth says, Tom, brand new, good shape and style, nice stone outside. Send me an email, let me know with the building. Maybe I'll actually go there and do a preview. I'm curious. Thank you for telling me about that though. Yes, summer land leases I'm seeing, yes. And that is a whole other, could be a nightmare waiting to unleash as well. Look at that. I think I like 157 the best, mainly because it's kicked off the entire trend. I'm not sure if anybody remembers Hurricane Sandy, but Hurricane Sandy, this thing was just being topped off, and the crane cracked in half and it was swinging around in the wind. And you know what? How long ago is this now? 2 years ago, the crane at the top of the Steinway Tower fell off the building completely and crashed down in the middle of 58th Street. And that was when I was living at 106 Central Park South, and they wouldn't let us out of our building. That was insane. How nobody got killed by that, it's like a miracle. I mean, think about how tall that building is, and imagine the crane falling all the way down to the ground floor. That's really insane. All right, so this is a Michelin star restaurant here at the Trump International Hotel. So you have three main doors. You have the Michelin star restaurant. The door in the middle is the hotel. And the door all the way to the right is the residences. So if you own a condo here, or if you rent, you would go right there on the right side. Hey, 2008 is here. Says, hey Tom, how are you? I'm doing really good. Doing really good. Thank you so much for asking. I wish the same for you. I hope you're doing really well. Hey. Carl Roth says, Tom, East Side is a great deal and it's walking distance to the subway. So ideal and affordable considering the rents and all. I'm a big fan of Sutton Place. We just did a tour, walking tour of Sutton Place. Now, the only, I would say, downside of Sutton that a lot of people are sort of steering away from is just because the vast majority of the buildings are older and they're co-ops. And the new trend, particularly amongst millennials and Gen Z, they don't want to live in an older co-op building. They want to live in the new condos with the swimming pools and all the amenities. But if you're just looking for a nice place to live and you don't need all the crazy amenities like the saltwater pools and the gyms, if you do a comparative analysis of price per square foot, a lot of those co-ops are trading at significant discounts to the newer condos. But then again, they are older buildings and you're not going to get any amenities. Hey, no artists, no titles. This is a very interesting stream, walking New York City and talking finance and real estate. Nice combo. I live in upstate New York. Hope everybody's all right. Usually when the lights are on and they're going crazy, that usually means that they could save the person. But if they just sort of have the lights on and going slow, that means the guys or the person in there is usually already dead, which is unfortunate. But thank you so much for watching. I love upstate New York. On yesterday's live stream, we were talking about Skinny Atlas, New York, which is in the Finger Lakes region of New York, which is just really breathtaking and gorgeous for anybody who's visited the Finger Lakes. I think I can't even name all of them. I think it's Cayuga Lake, Owasco, Skinny Atlas. What are the other ones? Maybe for some of the upstate New Yorkers here. I don't know. I think I can't name them all, but Skinny Atlas, Owasco, Cayuga Lake, things like that. Hey, Tariq Khan says happy Saturday all. What's up, Tariq? Thanks for joining us here in New York City at Columbus Circle. Now, if you guys like these financial conversations that we have, particularly about, the capital markets and real estate, and if you can't watch the full 2-hour live stream, we do publish all of our research for free. So every other Thursday after the market closes, I'll send you all of my thoughts on the capital markets, fixed income, real estate, and that is a bi-weekly research piece that I email out to everybody who subscribes to Walks on Wall Street. So if you scan the QR code and punch in your email, you'll be able to read our full archived research, as well as receive all of our future research, which is going to be dropping this Thursday after the bell. So feel free to do that. It's a good way to support the channel in a free way. But let's head down 8th Avenue. Very, very seldom do we walk down 8th for a multitude of reasons, but I think we'll be able to brave it tonight. I've built up the mental fortitude to be able to brave 8th Avenue, so I think we're going to go headstrong and try to take it on tonight. Well, we'll see. I think you're right. Someone says that the Finger Lakes were created by a glacier long time ago. I believe all of Long Island is glacial till as well. That's bringing back memories of my earth science class back in high school. Did anybody have to take earth science? Remember that? The earth science regents? I remember the professor, he was like, or the teacher, he's like, yeah, Long Island, New York, Nassau and Suffolk County is all glacial till. All right, this is a cool shot of 432 Park Avenue in the distance. Look at that. So we started the live stream outside of 432. And now this is the view from 8th Avenue. Since we have the light, we'll cross. Jake says Long Island is a pretty sketchy place now. What do you mean? How so? It's one of the wealthiest places in the United States, particularly Nassau and Suffolk, some towns.
All right, I'll call you.
Oh yeah, that's another thing we got to worry about, the congestion tax. So as you go past 60th Street southbound, they're going to hammer you with a fee. Now, I don't think they settled on the fee yet. They have to vote on it. And it's going to be between $9 and $29, which is still crazy. I don't know how anybody's going to do that. Hey, Maggie Friend, thank you so much for your $4 Canadian donation. I appreciate it very, very much. Thank you for supporting the channel. Hey, Ike's, how do you guys feel about having to pay up to $23 a day to drive into Manhattan? I mean, it depends. It's really just depends. I think that it's going to do more to harm, I would say, the lower middle class and poorer people that have to drive into the city to go to work. I don't think it's really going to have a material impact on wealthier New Yorkers, because look, let's say if you have a high-paying job and you work on Park Avenue, chances are your employer is probably going to pay for your transportation anyway. And if you're at the very, very high upper echelons in New York, you probably just have a chauffeur. So if you have enough money to, pay for a chauffeur, what's another $29? But it's going to crush, middle class and lower middle class New Yorkers who have to drive into the city to go to work. That's who it's really going to punish. As with every new policy the city implements to try to help the middle class, if you hear of any policy that the city says is going to somehow help poor and middle class New Yorkers, you could totally interpret that as the exact opposite. So anytime you hear a government employee of the city of New York say that something is going to go towards helping working class people, you know that every single thing coming out of their mouth is not even remotely truthful, and it's meant by design to fleece you. And that's not sensationalism, that's actually the truth. All right, I can't do 8th Avenue anymore. I've lost all my mental fortitude. So we're gonna head a little bit further back into the city and we'll go down Broadway. Hey, 1234, what's up? Well, at least we'll get to see the building that Extel is going to redevelop. And the building used to be the old headquarters of Bad Boy Entertainment, which is Sean Combs' record company. And it's been sitting vacant for almost 15 years now. I don't know. How much is it to cross the George Washington Bridge? Does anybody know? I very seldom drive. I really never drive, honestly. All right, I'll guess. It's $15 to cross the George Washington Bridge. That's my guess. Could anybody do a quick Google search on that? Maybe I'm a little high, maybe I'm a little low. Patricia Ivory says, if you're poor, you shouldn't be driving and very expensive. save the money. I think that's very easier said than done. What if you have to go to work? What if you need to use your car for work? Right? I mean, my grandparents were janitors, right? They would clean all these buildings in Manhattan. That's how they made a living. They were poor, but they had to drive into the city to clean all the buildings. Many people still do that, right? Many people are, handymen, handy women. They're mechanics. They have to use their vehicles to do work. All right, everybody, here it is. This is the bad boy. Oh, it's $17. Holy crap. Action Kid says $17. I just crossed the bridge in July, and that got charged to my SunPass account. Holy crap. Imagine having to pay $17 every day to come into Manhattan, and then you have to pay maybe another $10 if you drive south of 60th Street. That's crazy. That's insane. Now, I think that's why, and I think Action Kid, you're the one who advised all of us this. Isn't the state of New Jersey suing New York City for for that toll thing? Is that right? I haven't really been paying attention to it a lot, but anyway, this building, everybody, used to be the old headquarters of Bad Boy Entertainment or Bad Boy Worldwide. If you heard of, P. Diddy or Sean Combs, this used to be their headquarters, right, of their massively successful record label. Now, unfortunately, this building looks egregiously horrible and is a massive, massive eyesore for many New Yorkers. And look at it. Everything's blown out. People use it to do drugs here. There's heroin needles all along the side, and everything is totally vacant. Turns out, Extel, I think, owns the building or bought it, and they're going to demo the entire building, and it's going to be apartments. I think it's going to be like a mixed-use building. It's going to be condominiums and office space, which is good because at least something new will come out of it instead of this, vacant building that just says, warning, keep out, poison, rat bait from 2015. It's kind of weird seeing the building like this because this is in one of the nicest parts of the city. All right, let's continue to head down. This is the Ed Sullivan Theater, where now the Colbert Report is. It's very, very windy now. It must be like 20-mile-an-hour winds. But if you are enjoying the live stream so far tonight, feel free to leave a like on the video and click the subscribe button if you're new. We usually do these live streams every day starting at 8:30. We'd love to have you along for the ride. Hey, Kathy says, hi, new here, I'm enjoying this. Well, Kathy, thank you for joining us. We're very happy to have you here. And hopefully you're enjoying your weekend. Happy Saturday. Has anybody ever visited or gone to a live show or a live recording here at the Ed Sullivan Theater? I mean, this place is arguably one of the most famous places in the city. Yeah, DC 322. This is David Letterman's home, 20 years before his retirement. I would like to go to a live recording of Stephen Colbert. I think he's funny. Wow, 3T3 says, Tom, I went to Letterman in 2002. Wow. How was that? That must have been an amazing experience. Sabrina Ferris says, no, but I've always wanted to. 3T3, I'm jealous. That's an awesome experience. Hey, Dave. This is Tom. Good luck tomorrow at the Conover open house. Thank you, Dave. I appreciate it. Hopefully you're having a good weekend. Hey, JC, this is Tom. There was a new feature in iOS 7. When you were on a call or something, click on mic settings, and you can block out the background noise completely. Really? That's a really, really good feature. Kathy says, thank you, Tom. I lived on Long Island in East Northport. Ah, cool. So I'm from Massapequa, so South Shore, Long Island. So it's good to have a fellow Long Islander in the chat. Thanks for being here. I may head out to Long Island tomorrow, actually, after Brooklyn. We'll see. Hey, Ike, thank you so much for your very kind $5 donation. Says, any plans to live stream through downtown Brooklyn? Maybe. The majority of videos that I put out as it relates to Brooklyn are standalone videos. Very, very difficult for me to do live streams there, mainly because I work on 57th Street and I tend to work very late. But maybe we'll try it. Definitely, if I'm in the area, I'll try to pop on the live and do it. 100%. Hey, DJ Chris is Wantaw here. Okay, cool. Nice. Hood Patriot. This is Tom. Stephen Colbert was funny before he did a baby sacrifice skit. I didn't know that. Sounds a little weird. Oh, surfboards. This is Tom. We're going to have a family reunion in Islip. Very cool. Love that. I didn't know about the baby sacrifice skit. That's a little disturbing. Now, does anybody have a good... So JC was telling us about that iOS 17 update. So here's one of my main problems that I'm having now. And I'm wondering if anybody has any suggestions or could help me out. So I'm constantly on the go, right? I'm in the subway, I'm walking around the city, and it's very loud. But people call me and I have to make calls, and I can't even hear myself think when I'm walking around the city half the time. But the background noise is so loud that nobody could hear me. Does anybody know of a Bluetooth headset that blocks out the sound for the other person? So like noise canceling, but on the other side. Do you know what I mean? So I don't want them to be able to hear any background noise of New York City when I'm walking around talking to them. So I go into the Apple store the other day, the Fifth Avenue one, and I tell the kid, I'm like, hey, this is what I need. I need noise canceling headphones, but not the ones that cancel the noise on my side. I want the other person to not be able to hear a peep of what's going on in the background. And he says, oh yeah, the new AirPods do that. Turns out they don't do that. So I need a pair of headphones that do that. Anybody have a suggestion? Oh, Sabrina Fair says, yes, Tom, I have one. I'll message you. DJ says you need a suppressed mic. Oh, JC says that's exactly what the setting is for, so the other person cannot hear the background noise. I'll have to do some beta testing on that. Does it actually really work? Tony says the AirPod Pros. So the AirPod Pros don't do that. The AirPod Pros are noise canceling for you. So when you put in the AirPod Pro, you can't hear any of the background noise, but the other people on the other line, I mean, you're hearing Showtime in New York City subway all day, every day. I want to completely cancel that out. I know Trecon says there is a software for that on your laptop. So I need it on the go, right? I need something like a mic, like a headset that will cancel it out. Wow, JC says it really works, you will be amazed. I'm gonna try it out. Maybe when I'm finished with this live stream, I'll try it out. I'll give my friend a call and see if it actually works. That's a life-changing feature. If the new software update actually does that, that is a life-changing feature for me. But we'll see. We'll see if it actually works. Adrian says the AirPod Pros do it, Tom. They do not do it. So the AirPod Pros cancel the noise for you, not for the other person. And I don't really need for me. I know, the LT Prod. Agreed. Well, I appreciate the help. Yeah, if you have any suggestions or recommendations, feel free to email me. Yeah, Paul Burnell, I've definitely been to the Metropolitan Museum of Art. It's amazing. Tatted Terrace, Tom, they do cancel out the noise for the other person with AirPod Pro 2s. So that's the one I have. It doesn't. It's horrible, trust me. Happy Day says BTC. What do you think about BTC Streamer? What is that? Magnetic Universe is the new hover drone, has good noise cancellation. I'll check it out. I really do appreciate the suggestions. Tatted Tara, I'm gonna check it out. I do appreciate. All right, I'll give him one more go because I have them. I didn't return them, so. I know Storm Rider 8957 says glad you got off 8th Avenue. I mean, it's so horrible what the city has allowed 8th Avenue to become. It's like all degeneracy, so many drug addicts, so many crazies. And we were actually in the good part of 8th. The part up near Columbus Circle on 8th Avenue is the good part, the amazing part of 8th Avenue, the clean part. The part where the vast majority of essentially just the criminals and the derelicts are, that's all near Port Authority down to 34th Street. And that is like unwalkable now. It's just unwalkable. I can't even stand it. But this is 53 West 53rd. Hey, Primate says, hey Tom, how's it going? I'm excited to learn about finance today. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Peter Webley says 8th Avenue is way nicer than it used to be. Interesting. Very interesting.
It is.
All right, let's cross here.
I think it's a good idea.
Let's check out the restaurant at 53 West 53rd. Peter web leases was much worse in the 80s and the early 90s. Yeah, I mean, that's like a million years ago. I was born in 1995. I'm talking about like when I'm, living in the city, particularly now and I would say 2011 on. I would say every time I walk down 8th, I just see some just wild stuff. Every time without fail. Hey, DMs, just hello Tom and everybody. I shopped at Wegmans this evening and the store was crowded. I am so jealous. I am so jealous. I haven't gone to the new Wegmans yet. Now, we went last night on the live stream, but it was closed. They closed at 10 o'clock. But I'm so excited about the new Wegmans. Happy Days Silicon. It says, Tom, please give me your opinion on Bitcoin and crypto. Well, I think generally my opinion is this, and I've said it before. When you're talking about cryptocurrency, and the reason why I really never had any exposure to anything else besides Bitcoin is because if you just have a basic understanding of securities law, essentially all of those altcoins or the alternative coins are essentially securities that are unlicensed or unregistered. So I think that's going to be a major issue with the SEC and Gary Gensler, and you're already starting to see a plethora of lawsuits come down by the SEC to all of these exchanges that are, market making for these alternative coins, right? Now, Bitcoin I've owned for a long time, and I continue to own it, and I continue to rebalance the portfolio and buy it because the value proposition for me with Bitcoin is that it's the only asset in the world that is truly unconfiscatable and permissionless across international borders. And I think that for me, again, I'm not speaking for anybody else, but for me that deserves an allocation. Whether that be 5%, whether that be 10% of somebody's net worth. But that's for me. Right, look at all of the things that are going on now, particularly in China, by the way. And I've written a piece about this. The wealthy elite in China are scrambling right now to rip their money out of China. And they're giving it to all of these cartels and underground banking institutions to try to remove their wealth out of China. Well, if they had an allocation to Bitcoin, all they do is they, wake up, they transfer $100 million worth of Bitcoin overseas, no questions asked, no permission, totally unconfiscatable, assuming you have self-custody and you own your own private keys. So, let's say you go through your working career, you're at the age of retirement, you've done really well for yourself, and, you're worth $20 million. For me personally, right, let's say you're 80 years old, you've done really well, you've saved a lot, you've invested a lot, you're worth 20 million. I would say that 5% of that net worth allocation, it would be very reasonable to have that in Bitcoin. Not because it's going to go to $1 zillion and I'm going to speculate on it. It's irrelevant at that point. It won't even really move the equity needle on your portfolio. The value proposition for you is that should you have, a Silicon Valley banking collapse that doesn't get bailed out by the Fed or bailed in, should you have a tyrannical government seizing your assets, right, like they did to those truck drivers in Canada, you have 5% of your net worth that you could transfer without any permission, instantaneously, for literally almost no money at all in terms of transaction fees. And I think that is the value proposition for me. It's sort of like having a put option on something really bad happening, right? So I personally don't use it to speculate. I keep an allocation right around, a single digit allocation. If it goes out of that single digit allocation and becomes a double digit, I sell it down. But for that exact reason. It's the only asset class that I know of that is totally unconfiscatable, permissionless, and that's what I think about it. However, I don't condone any of these alternative coins. I think the vast, vast, vast majority of the stuff that's going on in the cryptocurrency ecosystem today is fraudulent. I think there's a lot of manipulation in it, and until Gary Gensler and the Securities and Exchange Commission can just set out a set of rules and a set of parameters of what's allowed, what's not allowed, what's classified as a security, what's not. Until that happens, you're going to have all of this nonsense go on with more Sam Bankman-Frieds, more scams, more frauds, more pump and dumps. So I really think the SEC is doing a really bad disservice to the American public by not just setting a set of rules, right? That's all you need, is just a set of rules, a framework to follow. But again, like I said, they've already made their ruling on Bitcoin. The SEC has stated that Bitcoin is property. Therefore, it gives investors the green light to buy, sell, trade. But I don't feel comfortable getting involved in something that's up in the air where I could potentially be getting wrapped up into a securities law violation and go to jail. So that's sort of my take. And again, that's just my personal opinion. It doesn't mean I'm right about anything. It doesn't mean I'm right about anything I'm saying. All it means is that's just my opinion. If you think that Bitcoin is a fraud and a scam, well, then you shouldn't buy it. You shouldn't even think about it. That's just sort of the way I think. I don't know. All right, so we made it back to Fifth Avenue here. And again, maybe I'm wrong about all of the altcoins as well. I'm not a lawyer. I don't have a deep background and a fundamental understanding of securities law like some lawyers do. But I don't think I'm a stupid person. Like, I can read documentation and say, okay, does this sound like an unlicensed security that somebody's soliciting? Because if you think about what an altcoin is, essentially they're just software companies, right, that are soliciting tokens as a form of not only remedial payment, but as a way to raise money. Kind of similar to an IPO, right, an initial public offering, or a SPAC, a special purpose acquisition company. But in the cryptocurrency world, people think that they can get away from having to do the appropriate things of registering for an IPO and such, just because they say it's a cryptocurrency, right? And that it's an ICO, an initial coin offering, so they don't have to follow any of the rules. Unfortunately, that's not how it works. And the SEC shows no mercy when they get around to throwing down the hammer. And trust me, you do not want to be getting in any legal trouble with the SEC. Let's just say that. So I know that was long-winded, but you asked for my take, sort of my take on it. This is the brand new Tiffany building, which is absolutely stunning. But I do have a book recommendation that is very, very good. Even if you don't like cryptocurrencies or Bitcoin at all, you should still read this book. And the book is called The Bitcoin Standard. And the reason why I like the Bitcoin Standard so much is because the first half of the book has nothing to do with cryptocurrency. It is just a history lesson on fiat currency. So if you're super against Bitcoin, if you're super against cryptocurrency, just get the book Bitcoin Standard and stop at the halfway point and then throw the book out. But this book is really, really good on explaining from the very, very beginnings of transactions, the very, very beginning of the history of the world and how people transacted with each other, from the barter system, from the first fiat currency system ever. And it's just an amazing history lesson, all the way up to the 1970s when the US went off the gold standard. It's an amazing book. Check out this building. This is a unique one. But if you sort of like those thoughts and those conversations, oftentimes I will write those thoughts that we talk about into a research piece detailing the latest CPI report, how that impacts not only monetary policy, but how that impacts valuations of all asset classes, right? And how everything goes in order of liquidity. So as interest rates go up, the more sensitive an asset is to interest rates, usually the more liquid the asset class. That's why you're just starting to see valuations in real estate starting to roll over, particularly on the commercial office side, because real estate's less liquid. So if you want to sort of read our research, support the stream, scan the QR code and check it out. This is the IBM building, which is very unique. It sort of has this big overhang. And there you have 432. Let's actually venture to the Upper East Side. Might as well. We'll check out some of the beautiful buildings on Park Avenue and the Upper East. Hey, hello mate 2008, what's up? This is the SEC needs a whole framework and a set of rules for crypto. I agree. Hey, Surfboard, take care. Thank you so much for joining us. Blues Writer. Dave says Tom's full of energy tonight. Dave, I'm getting the energy from you. I'm getting the energy from you tonight. Oh, you know what? It must be really late at night because we started late. I think we started the stream at like 9:30. Right across the street, everybody, this is a very, very unfortunate event. This is the Four Seasons Hotel right here on Billionaires Row. And this is completely vacant now. It seems that there's two signs on the door. Let's cross the street and explore what exactly those signs say. Maybe there'll be a little bit of an update as to why it is closed and when it's coming back. Hey, 444 Truth Teller, what's up? Trust you well. Office Girls just wonder what happened. Well, the last that I heard about it is that the owner of the hotel is in a dispute with New York City over taxes. The owner claims that he shouldn't have had to pay property taxes because the city forced him to close down his business, right? Now again, this is all alleged. I don't know exactly what's going on. But this is the Aston Martin showroom here. Western Mass Dave says, Tom, but I didn't go through with the invitation to Becco. I know, Dave, I was waiting at the bar for you, man. I got a nice spot at the bar. I had 2 rounds of pasta and they're like, hey, when is this guy gonna get here? It's like, he must be on his way. We'll see. All right, I'm actually really intrigued by this. Maybe we'll have an update on when it's gonna reopen, but it's probably just a notice for the UPS guys to bring the packages somewhere else. We'll see. Ooh, this is a really nice shot of 432 Park. Look at that. We never see it from this angle. Very cool. All right, who thinks it's going to be an update on when it'll reopen? And who thinks it's just a generic update for the UPS guy to bring the packages somewhere else? It's the moment of truth. Man, Four Seasons is so nice too. All right, we're seeing update, generic. All right, moment of truth. It's generic. It says, please direct any building deliveries / inquiries to 58th Street, the employee entrance. Man, that's so crazy that it's still... You could see the front desk, you'd see some of the lights on. It's actually really beautiful in there. Quite obviously, it's the Four Seasons. Man, they gotta figure that out. That's so crazy that it's still, they didn't settle that. Let's go to 58th Street and see what it looks like on the other side. Hey, CPI2, this is Tom. Enjoyed your North Miami video. Thank you so much. Yeah, so that is Little Buenos Aires. It's one of my favorite neighborhoods in all of Miami. It's really gorgeous. This looks like a bullion dealer. Wow, look at that. 1804 silver dollar. Crazy. Gold's at what? 1950 an ounce? Hey, No Artist says, thank you for this positive and uplifting walk. When you live upstate, sometimes you only hear the negative. Nice to know New York City is still a beautiful place. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think that, you know, the media loves sensationalism. Now, are there things that are wrong with New York City? Yes. But it's not the Mad Max chaos that you see on Fox News and CNN. All right, everybody, so this is the front side of the now vacant Four Seasons Hotel. I'm gonna have to do some more investigative work on this because it's so unfortunate. I wonder how much the average the nightly rates were here. You can see the entryway up there. Let's see if we can see it a little bit better. Wow. So Jeff in Southern Tier, New York says the Four Seasons is supposed to reopen in the fall of 2024, per the article you just looked up. Well, that's good news. Peter Webley says it's nice if you stay in the expensive parts of Manhattan. Unfortunately, nowadays, the expensive parts of Manhattan is pretty much every part of Manhattan. The city's been getting more expensive, it's true. So Jeff in Southern Tier, New York, did they say there was any settlement? Did the city come to the negotiation table and sort of cut them a tax break or something? Wow, David, what's up from Southern California? It's good to see you, man. Says the owner of the Four Seasons has resolved their differences and will open in 2024. Love that. Now, when they say resolve their differences, was there anything specific? I don't want to make any assumptions, but I bet the city let him off the hook for the tax bill. And if that's the case, if the city let him off the hook for that tax bill, what does that mean for everybody else? You don't think all the other hotel operators and owners are going to say, hey, wait. We paid our taxes. Now we want to break on ours. Now, I don't know what happened. So usually when they said they resolved their dispute and they're opening up, I'm assuming that doesn't mean the owner just rolled over and caved and paid all the taxes. They probably had a big break. Now, speaking of things that are vacant, you guys see this office building right here? This is right next to the Sherry Netherland Hotel. And this building is totally vacant. It has 6 office spaces in there and 2 retail on the storefront. It's 5 West 59th Street. And it went into foreclosure with about $85 million worth of bad debt on it. The building is right here. Prime location, amazing location. Right next to the Sherry Netherland, right on 5th Avenue. But it is in foreclosure, $85 million worth of bad debt. And I think whoever buys this, obviously they're not going to pay $85 million. But whoever buys this is going to get a home run deal. This is a home run deal here. You could do a lot with this. You could renovate it. You maybe even be able to turn it into condos. And look at your views. Imagine if you're able to put a couple condos on the roof. You have a direct view of the Plaza Hotel, the Steinway Tower. Whoever gets this, mark my words, we'll get a great deal. 5 East 59th Street. All right, everybody, but with that said, I think we are going to call it a night. It is getting late, and I want to make sure you guys are well rested for tomorrow, because tomorrow is our Markets a Look Ahead live stream. So be ready for that. So thanks, everybody, for joining tonight. If you enjoyed the live stream, feel free to leave a like on the video. Click the subscribe button if you're new. And again, if you want to sign up for our free financial newsletter that you will get every other Thursday after the market closes, feel free to scan the QR code and punch in your email. Have a wonderful Saturday night, everybody, and an even better Sunday. And we will see you right back here in New York City tomorrow night. Optimus 17, Sally, Wendy England, Michelle Henry, DM, Hawaii, Dave, appreciated Dave Sommers, Colton Manning, all of our moderators, Western Mass Dave, Blues Writers, Stephen Bates, D, There's always a bull market somewhere. You just need to know where to look. I'll see everybody right back here tomorrow night. Take care.